Hey guys, I'm here in Ward 10 with Michael Walters, and we're in the Good Stop Cafe in Petroleum Mall. We're here talking about, the exact same things that we've been talking about this whole time, young people, trying to get them to vote. And so it's very nice to meet you.
Yeah, pleasure to meet you too, sir.
Awesome. So here at YEGnation, we're trying to get young people to vote. October 16th, 2017, guys, get out there, participate. And I wanted to know, how are you going to get young people to come out, vote, participate in municipal elections, and in the community at large?
Well, I think what I'm planning to do is fight for a city that they're going to want to live in and build a life in, build a business in, raise a family in. I think that the number one thing we can do for young people is to show them a vision that they can see themselves in the future. So for me, it's a platform that's future oriented. It's about getting out and talking to them about it, asking them what kind of city that they want, which I've been doing my whole term, working very closely and being as engaged as I can with young voters and young citizens in my ward and across the city. And it all comes down to the kind of city that they want and the kind of city that they can see themselves in today and in 10 years and when they're raising their own families and when they're starting to retire. So it's about the future.
Cool. Actually, what have you done in the past that you would say would be some of your key things that you've accomplished in your previous term? And what are maybe the main things you want to see in the future?
So, I've done a lot on council. I've been the council lead on the affordable housing initiative. The fight to end homelessness has been something I've been part of my whole career, and helping find more space for affordable housing, or permanent supportive housing throughout the city has been a big focus of my term, and we've made some headway there. A big thing for me has always been neighborhoods, like complete neighborhoods where you have enough kids for the schools, you have enough customers to support our local businesses, you just have a great quality of life and livability so you can raise a healthy family in our city. And I think my focus has been on strong, sustainable neighborhoods, and I can point to a whole number of policies that achieve that.
For example, this place here, the Good Stop Cafe.
Well,
actually, why did you bring this here?
The credit for this place goes to the entrepreneurs and the investors, but I think what we're trying to do is create a spirit in older, mature neighborhoods that you can be a successful business owner and serve the community. This is a great example of a community hub where people can gather. It makes the neighborhood more walkable. It makes the neighborhood safer. This particular restaurant makes the neighborhood healthier, and that the kind of food that they offer. All of those things are really important to quality of life, to the value of our homes, the value of our communities. And community hubs at the center of great neighborhoods is a true passion of mine.
Okay, so we're gonna actually make a quick move, so let's get over there. Hey guys, we're back here in the middle of Ward 10. So why did you bring us out here?
So, an important consideration for anybody who's running for city council, although it's not super sexy, is asset management. That's one of the things we have to be pretty mindful of. The city has $40 billion worth of assets, our roads, bridges, facilities, all those kinds of things that we have to maintain and spend money to make sure that they're working. So we're here in an alley, which is a fairly typical alley in a Ward 10 neighborhood. This is in the neighborhood of Greenfield, where we have last term created a fund to fix these things over the next decade or so. So, this is an example of good sort of municipal politics 101, asset management. Not all that exciting, but super important to the future of the city. Because if we don't fix this stuff today and have a good plan to fix this stuff today, we're not going to have the money that we'll have to pay way more of, spend way more of in the future. To fix it then. So fixing it today allows us to invest smartly into the future, to build the kind of city, again, that is going to be attractive for young people, to make sure that they see their future here in Edmonton.
Well, like you were saying earlier in the restaurant, is that, if we don't take care of these, the bill gets footed on us.
That's
when
right.
We're older and we're paying the taxes and we have to take care of everything, and
right.
It becomes double the cost. But
yeah, it's just more expensive. It's like the old adage, you pay to maintain the roof on your house today. It's way cheaper than having to replace the whole roof in 10 years, and that's a simple way to describe asset management. A city has a ton of stuff, like I said, $40 billion or so worth of stuff that we have to look after, and we have to do that well. And now we have to do that in the context of climate change and the effect that increased volatility of weather has on our city assets. So it's important to think about assets all the time, and it's important to plan them for the future as well.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, so
All
you
right.
have one more place to take us?
I have 2 more places.
2 more places?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, well,
Road
we'll be
trip
right back.
through
Let's
Ward 10.
go. Let's go. All right, so we're off 111th Street in Twin Brooks near the exit to the Anthony Henday. Why did you bring us here, Michael?
So I brought us here because this is where the LRT South Extension will come, hopefully in the pretty near future. And I wanted to talk about the world as it is versus the world as it should be. One of the reasons I ran for council in the first place is because I wanted better planning around LRT and its relationship to neighborhoods. And I think one of the things city councillors have to be mindful of is how do you build the city in a way that works for the communities that are affected by big city building projects like the LRT. And I think the world as it is further north up the line, 111th and 51st Avenue, which to this day remains a source of frustration for people because it's at grade, creates lots of traffic issues. People in the neighborhood have been perpetually upset about that. And it doesn't actually, in so many ways, serve the community as well as it should. So I think the relationship between city building projects and making sure that communities can fully take advantage of them, or take advantage of them as much as possible, is a really important skill set for a city councillor. And this is an example of where we can create the world as it should be, where we can have a train, mass transit, come by here that's elevated above these intersections, so you're not creating traffic tie-ups, that you can have a station that the 6,300 people who live in Twin Brooks can use and ride and walk to, and it becomes a pretty healthy part of their life, being able to walk in the morning as a pedestrian, get on a train, avoid car traffic, get to the university or downtown or wherever it is they're going. And I think this is the kind of urban planning that we have, the good urban planning we have an opportunity to pull off here in Twin Brooks, learning from some missteps that were made further up the line. So this is a great example of a city building project coming together and helping build the community through which it passes.
Perfect. So that's really his campaign, a lot of future thinking and forward thinking
Right.
about how we want to see Edmonton for not just now, but 10 years down the line.
That's right, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line. We know that mass transit is an important part of urban economies. We know that urban economies are essentially the driving force of our national economy. So transit and LRT and supplementary bus rapid transit and good express buses and local buses, all that stuff working together makes for an excellent transit system, which we have the opportunity to build here in our great city of Edmonton. And that's the kind of city that I think young people are demanding of us and expect of us, and that's the kind of city that we should build.
Awesome. So we have one more place to go.
Okay.
We'll see you there. All right, so Michael has brought us here to the edge of Ward 10 and the edge of Edmonton. So what's up here?
So this is a really interesting place to be right now. 41st Ave Southwest is the south boundary of the city, and as of right now, the south boundary of Ward 10. There's a really important question that I think citizens have been asking, and it's a good question for the average citizen, is why are we promoting infill and annexing new land at the same time? So if you look behind us, this is all Leduc County, which we just made an agreement with the county to annex all the land to the Highway 19 near the airport. And I think it's important for councillors and candidates for councils to be able to answer that question intelligently. And it's about an understanding of how cities are built and how cities are financed. Truthfully, we should have started the conversation about infill and densification 20 years ago. We're this far out because people are growing. Edmonton is growing rapidly. 24,000 people move here a year. It's like adding the city of Leduc onto Edmonton every year. And people need some place to live. In our existing neighborhoods that we came from earlier in our little road trip today are built at a fairly low density, 24 or so units per hectare. These neighborhoods out here are built closer to 40 units per hectare, so they're far denser. One of the things that's important about the annexation to understand, and the reason that the city of Edmonton did it, is that there's two ways we get money. We get residential property tax and we get non-residential property tax. Residential property tax, so for every dollar you pay from your house for property tax, depending on the density of your neighborhood, costs about $1.35 or $1.50 to service that dollar. Every dollar of industrial property tax we get costs about 20 cents or so to service. So that's why we have that balance. And Edmonton doesn't have enough non-residential or industrial property tax when our neighbors all around us have it. And so it's about us being competitive in the region and making sure that the city of Edmonton is financially sustainable, but it's also about working together with the region. So one other important thing that I want to talk about, people thought this was, we're annexing good farmland. That was true 20 years ago. This land has been long planned and speculated for development for a number of years now. So we're not annexing pure farmland that's all necessarily being farmed. It's land that the county had planned to develop on for a long, long time. So the fix was already in on it, so to speak. So what we are able to do now as part of the Edmonton region, in creating an Edmonton regional growth plan for the whole metro region, is make new suburban communities more sustainable, denser, and over the 40 years build out of that plan, we can actually preserve 250 quarter sections of farmland, $5 billion in infrastructure that now doesn't have to be spent to service that farmland. So that's the kind of planning that we're forced or faced with today and need to do today. Noting that, lots of people think we should be this far out. Probably not, but it's the world we live in and we have to plan for the future, not for the past.
Great. So it's been awesome talking to you, Michael.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been a pleasure to hear all that experience that you've had come out and talk about the real issues with numbers and figures that you have obviously learned over the years that you have been already in office. So, all right, YEGnation, it's been a great talking to Michael Walters here in Ward 10. We're now signing off, but make sure you guys come out and vote on October 16th. If you like what we're doing, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel, check out our website. It's been awesome meeting Michael.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Have a wonderful day.
Make sure you vote, everybody. October 16th.